Thank you so much for watching The Great Resignation. My name is Gina Lemon, Vice President of Timberland Partners, and I'm here to answer some of the online questions, specifically 3 that we'll dig into today. So the first question, what is the impact of accountability for those who aren't performing, burned out, apathetic, or possibly in a toxic work environment? That's a great question. I actually wanted to start with unpacking the word accountability. Cy Wakeman is a really great leadership coach who talks about accountability in 5 different segments. The first one is commitment. Are you dedicated to a cause or engagement? Or also, is the commitment possibly restricting your action? So we need to understand our level of commitment first. The second piece is willingness. Are you giving freely or is it conditional? So in regards to your willingness, I think about an example of sitting in the emergency exit row on an airplane. You need to be able to do that freely and willingly to help your passengers on an airplane if there's an emergency. The third piece of accountability is resilience, our ability to bounce back or stay the course. How much equity or inequity do we have in the work environment, and are we taught or do we develop this resiliency over time? So really, we're impacted by our experiences. However, we do not want to be traumatized by them. We really want it to help us raise the bar. The fourth piece of accountability is ownership. We need to meet that with curiosity, not defensiveness. So the question is, how else could I be better? How could I own it? Or how could I change it? So if you are burned out or apathetic, these are really great questions to ask yourself. And also, if you're in a toxic work environment, you might not be able to change the environment. So what can you do? The last one is continuous learning. Leaders and team members alike need to focus on their own accountability. We need to diagnose what our challenges are and our factors and then own the results. So for those that are challenged by the accountability in the work environment, I would encourage you to look through those 5 items from Cy Wakeman. The second question is, during an exit interview, how honest should a person be when giving the reason for leaving due to a toxic work environment? For example, being ignored by the boss or if you're underappreciated. This is an exceptional question, especially after I said drop all of your exit interviews. So if you're still doing exit interviews or if you're going to an exit interview, it's really about your own comfort level and what you want to share. I tend to encourage team members to focus on the positive. And even if there are some changes that they need to make in the work environment, frame them up in a positive, constructive way instead of framing it from a complaint perspective. Really focus on how the company can continue to be better. The third question is, in my last job, there was a lack of organizational structure and obtainable goals. There was a lack of team capacity and too much work where I didn't feel I could take time off. As a leader, how do you keep your employees motivated, specifically around setting goals? And how can you make sure your employees meet the expectation put upon them and stay motivated? This is a great question, especially when sometimes we're asked to be or we're given more and we're asked to do more with less resources. So really, from a capacity perspective, you own your work-life balance. Like Kelly Schneider said, if you can wrap your work around your life and your life around your work, that is the ultimate goal. So how can you take personal ownership to make sure that you are honoring yourself and you know what your capacity is? You might need to be more bold in your work environment and letting your boss or your leader know that you're at capacity, for an example. Also, in regards to keeping your employees motivated, you can't. Each team member shows up with their own level of motivation. So my guidance to you as a leader is to assess their level of motivation. Are they internally motivated or externally motivated? The more team members you can hire on your team that are internally motivated, you will not even have to worry about how to answer this question, because those internally motivated team members are going to show up wanting to over-deliver. And then also around goal setting or setting expectations, that is your job as a leader. Set the goals, set the expectations. People like to have high bars so that they can overcome obstacles. That is our goal as leaders. So I would encourage you to look at the expectations that you've had set for your team and how are you communicating those expectations. And that circles back into the first question about accountability. Once you set the expectations, hold people accountable. Thanks, everyone. Hope you're having a great day.